Greetings, beautiful soul family. Welcome to another episode of Too Much to Talk About. So much to talk about. Welcome again to another series. My name is Tarun Hari, and I am in interview today with someone very special indeed. Magali, she reached out to Transcending Matters after we done the summit, the CBD and All Things Natural Summit. And reaching and conversing with her, she's got so much to share. It's so much, it's always a great honor to link with people within the community. When they reach out to us at Transcending Matters, we can only help, support, and give strength behind what they're doing. And like I said previously before, we need to extend out the reach of networking between practitioners and give each other support so we know that because the cause, we may be coming from different backgrounds, we might be coming from different religious paths and so forth, but when we're dealing with the concept of above cultural reference, when we're dealing with an esoteric concept, we're dealing with a oneness. So listening to what Sister Margaret has to share, it's so powerful. She's even written a book which we want to talk about. And there's so much things I want to talk about just to give you an insight as to the type of person and dynamics of who we are talking about. I want to play something just before she speaks because I don't think I've given her enough credit. You have to feel her energy, you have to feel her realism, and you will get it through this little intro video on the beautiful sister Margulies. Give me 1 second, let me get it up for you. Where are we? Here we go. Enjoy this.
To me, I just want to say a big thank you to everybody, every participant. Obviously, a lot of you don't know me. My name is Magali. I'm going to make it quick. I'm French. I come from South of France. Bonjour, ça va bien? Tout le monde va bien? Allez, on y va! I just want to be very genuinely grateful to everybody, every one of you in the room, because you made such a difference in my life. I've changed my whole life around to be in youth work. I used to be a chartered accountant, tax advisor, financial advisor. It's a mouthful. I just finished my book, which is a guide for mental health and helping young people. Instruction before leaving eternally. I can't wait to share it with you. I've got lots of things prepared for you. It's all about play. You can come where I am and what I'm organising to come and play with me. Those that are my cohort know I like to play. This is healthy, man. I'm the green. I'm healthy, as well you can probably tell. If you don't have MS, by the way, that's why you see me with a stick. Don't get worried. I have multiple sclerosis. It's no big deal.
Don't worry about that.
Exactly. I'm not worried. You are. I'm not sorry. Look at me. Anyway, love you all. Thank you again for making. Thank you to all and to show you what it meant to me. Hopefully Jonas will be able to put it on the screen earlier, but otherwise I want to send it to you individually. It's 40 seconds. It's 40 seconds. Anyhow, love you all. Don't worry, guys. It's cool. I'll show you individually to show you how much you meant for me. I will do, Louise, thank you again. Jonas, thank you. Thank you for the organisers. Thank you for everybody making sense of that. You were all great. You make that journey so amazing. And I met some real people on this journey. And I want to thank you again so much for making this life a game that I'm enjoying.
Oh, well.
I just want to say,
Wow.
Wow,
Um,
indeed. That's who we are talking about. So much energy. I don't know if you caught on to all the details. So much. She used to be a chartered accountant. She's had MS from birth. She cured herself. She makes her own CBD products. I really want to get her over to the CBD and all things natural retreat. I want her at the festival next year, at the Journey to Wellness Festival. I want her to have her own special stand with her products and merchandise and stuff. Really authentic energy that we're dealing with. Full of energy, full of beans, full of just full of excitement. So much things to talk about where Margalie is coming from. I don't even know where to start. So let me cut my noise off for a minute and stop my rambling and bambling and let's say hi to Sister Margalie. Hi. What an honor to be with you today. How are you, my dear?
Greetings, Tarun. I'm very well, thank you. Can you hear me fine?
I
Yeah,
can hear you beautifully.
perfect. Because I'm not wearing my mics today. I just realized I'm not wearing it. So, however, thank you again for inviting me. Thank you for that amazing opportunity to transcend with you into that amazing awakening we are experiencing at the moment. So I'm so grateful. I have told you that off camera earlier before we even started. I am so thankful.
Oh, listen,
Meeting.
I am so grateful and
So,
honored to meeting people like yourselves. This is not a one-way road. No one person is an island. The more that we can communicate interconnectedness, this is how life works. No one person stands alone, and I am humbled to be in your presence, listen to your story, encapsulate the message that you are bringing across because it is so profound. It's so profound. It's so profound. Where do we start? I mean, look at the aura, look at the demeanor that she's exuberating. It's just done for you make your own products, I understand.
yes, so I think I'm gonna take you on a little journey.
You're
I
going to
think
have to.
it will make it easier for everybody to understand where I come from, you see, because I'm like everybody else. I started like everybody else, not knowing what life is about. I started school. I had problem in school a lot, to focus, concentrate. Yeah, age 7, I wrote a play and put it together in my school, which was called The Upside Down World. At that point, I lost my cousin, which was somebody very important to me in my life at that point in my life. And she had cancer, and I saw her in London and then in Mauritius, and she was in a deathbed, less than six
Wow.
months.
How
And
old
I
is she?
was I was 6 going 7 at that point.
Now, how old was your friend?
Um, it was my cousin.
Okay. How old was your
So she
cousin?
was 23, I believe, at that age.
Wow, that's very young.
She was very young and she was married with my cousin. They were together from very young age. They were like school um lovers, if you will. So
Oh,
they got
wow.
married when they were really young, and then they would try to have children for a long time, and that's how she managed to get cancer, because she got injected a lot with hormones and things like that. And because I'm neurodiverse from very young age, when you do something or something happened to somebody I love, I'm trying to understand what happens around it. At that same time, I was in Mauritius, obviously, with my mum, and my grandmother died in the plane. So for 11 hours, 15 minutes, I had to stay with my mum. That changed completely in a plane. I did not recognize that woman, and I turned 7. So, um,
This is so much. Your grandmother died on the plane.
yes, Air France. We were flying on Air France, and as we took off, it was at the time people could smoke in the plane. That triggered an
A heart attack.
aneurysm in my grandmother, and I was sitting next to her at that point. Um, what made me, what traumatized me the most is two things. One, the smell. My grandmother's smell changed when she passed, when she expired and the breath left her body. And secondly, is how my mum changed. Um, that those two things really impacted me from really young age. So I wrote a play to come back to the play because that's the main thing. I wrote a play called The Upside Down World where there would be no more death, no more pain. You didn't have to lock your door. You were scared of nothing. And it was a far, far away country, a legend for people with cancer and illnesses, and they were all looking for it. And one man found it, and he invaded my kingdom because I was the king queen. Because I was a child, I had no particular need to be one or the other. So I was very balanced like that. I like to play like a boy, but I like to be a girl, if that makes sense. So I decided to be the king queen of my kingdom, and obviously he started invading my kingdom, and he started with the people outside the kingdom, telling them, but why do you not lock your door? Why are you not scared? Why are you so fear started invading my kingdom? And obviously illnesses, and because of fear, everything starts rising up. You see, unmet need, hurt, and then anger, you manifest it. You become angry and you want to shout at everybody, and you become unloving, uncaring. And it's a process, it doesn't happen overnight. However, when my grandmother died, I saw my mum change, or was she like that before? And I never realized. Again, age 7, I had to write that in a play and act it out because life is a game. I keep on saying that to people. Life is a game. So I wrote that play when I was 7, putting it all together, and then my family didn't show up. My disappointment and deception to realize nobody would ever care about what I do except me was harsh at age 7. And I appreciate, because my family entirely was going through a lot at that point. My mum realized my sister was with child, and she was 15. My grandmother died. We had a massive car accident, and our car did 8 loops, and I was untied, no seatbelt. It's a carpet that saved me, like Aladdin. Um, and yeah, lots of things happened in my life, but so much, I don't know where to start, like you said earlier. So all that made me start as a writer. However, my parents don't believe it's a job. So I became a chartered accountant after many attempts to become a doctor.
So
That didn't
let's
work
just
out for
slow
me.
down because we are going
Oh,
super fast because there's so much information. And I just want to break down some things to people because you're
please.
hitting on some things. The life path, it's so important to understand and identify the life path of such an individual because this is at the core, the shapings, the early shapings of a light worker.
Indeed.
When you go through such extremities where you're singled out and you have to now focus on life on a completely different way, and you get the concept of the world upside down.
I can
And
explain further.
oh no, I completely get it. I completely get it.
Um,
Frighteningly,
it
I get it. I was, for instance, at the age of 7, my household setting was very uh, volatile at the best, to say the best at least. And whatever it is I was going through, without breaking it down into detail, I my mother found me sleepwalking
Wow.
consistently,
Wow.
talking to God. And in my conversations with God, I was saying, yes, God, this is the life, this is the lifetime I'm going to really make sure I do what it is. I'll serve, I'll find you, so forth. I used to be saying all of these mad things as a 7-year-old while all these turmoil things were going on around me, and I just couldn't tune into it. And it was because of this, the rest of the family, particularly my mother, she started going to church. And then
Yep.
she uh, she started now influencing the rest of the family to start going to church. She was a very strong pinnacle in that sense, which gave me a form of anchoring to say, okay, there's a lineage, but I still had to find it for myself. I still had to do my own digging in, get real. And the things that was transforming in my life at a spiritual age between the ages of 7 and 12, it's phenomenal. So when I'm hearing stories like this, and I can so relate to the development of a light worker who doesn't, they don't lose their learner autonomy. This is a key thing that I highlighted in a conversation that I was speaking about quite a few months ago, and the importance of holding on to this play concept. You heard us speak about this earlier on, and keeping on to this concept of life is just a leela, it's just a game. Don't take it too seriously. These are major things that Sister Magali is actually pointing out, and really you do have to take great references to these things because these are part and parcel of the encoding of the message that she's passing on. Now, normally when you see people go through such traumatic experiences, it's either do or die, make or break. And 99% of the times it's break.
And you don't know the full story. I didn't
And
tell you from 0 to 7,
this
and
is exactly
I
it.
decided not to share that.
Don't,
However, if
don't.
I give you a little insight, I
No, I
suffered.
wouldn't. This, don't do it. Just don't, because we've got, it's too much to talk about.
Sorry, I will refrain.
No, trust me, that information that you've got to share will come out across the way. But what is really important in what you're highlighting is the key characteristics that shaped your personality and character. And this is key. This is real key. So in the passing of your grandmother on the plane, and you have to sit down next to a dead body for 11 hours. Come on, man. Come on. And above cultural reference, consciousness is doing something completely different in that space, and you're tapping into the realness about yourself. So here's a question. This idea of writing, because I know you jumped straight to becoming a chartered accountant, and that is not by mistake either. That is not
No,
by
it's
mistake.
not.
It's not by mistake. It verifies the exactness of your process of thinking.
That is accurate completely. So I compute everything a certain way. I balance out everything.
Exactly.
Um, I
So
account for everything. So this is why I kept on joking, because I still have my chartered accountancy business, by the way. So I still joke with my clients that I still have remaining, because I got rid of a lot of clients because I needed space and room to do what I like. Accountancy is like coaching people. It's seeing, because numbers don't lie. So I like numbers. You can lie to me, but your number or your bank account don't lie to me. Um, Everything I can calculate, and obviously I used to do auditing as well, so I'm a very good observer. And because I've been going through so much in my life, and I'm only in my 40s, I'm like, wow, my life is like unbelievable what people can think of, because I don't compute like that.
exactly.
So it's a discovery for me. It's always like, wow, it's always not so good surprises, but it's like surprising still. So I found it, I take it funnily. I have to say, I love laughing. I think that's what keeps you young and going and
Absolutely.
playful as well.
This is so
And
important in hearkening to the bliss that you truly are. The vibratory aspect, the truth of what your energetic signature should really be about. This is what amplifies healing on every level of your 7 dimensions. So it's beautiful to see that you radiate this smile, this comfort of being within yourself. And, you know, that's the core of magnetism, being happy with you, being happy with how you're going to radiate. You was born with MS, I understand.
So it's complicated as well. I knew something was wrong with me. However, my sister spent a year in hospital, and she's only 3 years older than me, and she had the chest infection that went wrong. But she stayed a year in hospital and she changed completely. And I was like, I don't want to go. So I was fine. I pretended it's a game. I pretended I was fine. However, in school, I wasn't. I knew I had problems to memorize. I had imbalances. I couldn't concentrate. I couldn't compute certain things. I couldn't do certain things my friends could do. Like I wasn't synchronizing. If you tell me to touch my head, my toe, it would work a lot of more for me than actually computing or adding up things. So I knew already I had inconsistency in things I could do. So from very young age, I didn't get involved with what I could highlight what I couldn't do, if that makes sense. So I was in art, I was in cooking because I wanted to be a chef. I wanted to be a doctor, so I did a lot of doctor studies, and then I realized I couldn't hold a scalp or I wasn't precise enough, or even working in hospital doing injection. And what bothered me was the pain people were experiencing because they could prevent it. So I came out of studying as a doctor to become a solicitor. My parents got tired of me changing. They wanted me to have a job because I'm an artist. I make things. I express myself, which is the opposite of depression, if you think about it.
Expression, depression, absolutely. You're
So
suppressing. Yes.
exactly. I don't suppress, I externalize, and I manifest it through myself because I realized there's no point. When I was studying to become a doctor, I realized there's no point trying to help people because doctors are not here to help you. You made yourself in that situation because you didn't know how to take care of your shell, which is your body. Now, if I had MS from birth, it's more likely because my mum has it, which is 80% the case, I believe, and my sister too. However, they've been diagnosed differently because it's all that due to compounds that you can easily test in someone's body. However, they are using different techniques and roundabout ways to tell you what it is, and is not. So they sell you medicine and you believe in them and you put your faith and your trust and your money in them,
So
which for me was a vicious circle.
when you're just to be specific, you are talking about the pharmaceutical business.
Yes, very
Okay,
specifically.
good.
And the doctors industry as well, because
Yeah, because
doctors,
it's an arm of the.
they work hand to hand. Like me as an accountant, I work for the government to collect money for the government. So watch me, that's why I retired. I don't do that. I never work for the government. I work for my clients. Massive difference. I don't do tax avoidance, but I'm a creative accountant that doesn't do creative accounting.
So
How about
there's a difference between tax evasion and tax avoidance, isn't there?
100%?
Right, we'll
And I
talk
don't
about that later. Let's not stray.
exactly, because that's all the same topic. If you want, you can
Yeah,
prevent illnesses, or it's the same as
avoid
tax
it. Yeah.
avoidance or crime. The crime is trying to cure something that you know what caused it in the first place, and you could have prevented it. How about that? In food,
Well, the thing is, what we find in terms of in the space of naturopathy, um, and dealing with people that come with illnesses, a lot of it is nations. And nations is innocent ignorance They've been tricked into a lifestyle.
Of course.
They've been conned into a lifestyle. There's no education in the system as we know it, through the kindergarten system or the secondary schooling system that actually teaches or aids any idea of a natural lifestyle. It's something that you find out way after you've left school and you go, oh, what's this?
So how about now, you said it righteously, it's the school programming. They deprogram you from being creative and have that critical thinking. So if you stop critical thinking, you're never going to question. It's the law. You don't question. Why is it the law? Is it legal or lawful? Massive difference, but nobody questions. So it's illegal. Weed is illegal. And I'm like, whoa, it's a plant. It's like basil, making basil illegal. It's like oregano is illegal now because.
Can you see why she was an accountant? Very specific in detail. And you've hit a beautiful nerve in terms of the plant. Again, you self-cured.
Indeed.
Which, looking into, I mean, what led you to marijuana, cannabis as a cure for your MS, and you deciding to make your own product and your own, this is a scientist mind now, says, right, I'm going into my own lab, which, again, a lot of us nut jobs actually do. I came across a beautiful soul earlier in my earlier years when I was with a partner, and she had my partner at the time. She had stage 3 breast cancer. She had developed stage 3 breast cancer, and through finding about the Rick Simpson oil treatment, through sources, this lovely lady, she had cured herself through marijuana oil, her MS, and she literally used to be crippled and curled over and couldn't walk and so forth. And now she's springy and bubbly and full of life and full of energy and full of zest. And was it something similar where you found history of this and you said, okay, I'm going in, regardless of what the system.
It has been a long process for me. I discovered weed when I was 15. That changed my whole life. I started having only grades, like rewards, the highest grades. My intelligence switched from being average to being a super genius.
Right. Is this, when you say weed, when people use the word weed, we're talking about the raw plant, and probably in those days, you must have been talking about what they would have considered high grade, or
not really. It's
what
local.
type of...
I live in south of France at that point, so in south of France, everybody grows. So it's something natural.
Okay, right. Okay, now we're talking about a different cultural setting here, people, because my mindset is thinking of the UK and what.
No, I grew up in France. So my friend had some from a brother who was growing it, and obviously I think she probably nicked it or something. I can't remember. I was like 15 at that time.
Yeah.
And she said to me, oh, let's go, like after school, like let's go and try this. And obviously I really liked that friend, and I was like, even though, remember, my grandmother died in the plane, so me and smoking, it's a no-go. So at that point I was facing this, and it smells so nice and so sweet, and it kind of called me. And I tried, and I never stopped.
Okay, and this was smoking.
So I started smoking, when I was 15.
Wow.
And that helped me through all my studies. That's how I became a chartered accountant in 3 years in the UK, studying and working full time. Set up my own business. I told you, weed made me a super genius. Then I have multiple businesses as well, by the way. Just I thought I'd let you know. I have my charity set up in France as well. Yeah, I do a lot. So I did my products because I became crippled in 2021. I had a massive relapse due to, I think I was being poisoned. I don't know who, how, where, and how, but I was working for that contract in central London. Um, it
Slow
started in 20,
down,
oh,
stop, jaw breaks,
sorry.
stop, stop, stop. It's too much. Stop. We've got to, because you're saying some miracle things which people in indigenous areas hold, uh, uh, what do they call it, truth to. But the dehumanization or it's not the dehumanization, it's the vilification and the demonization of weed.
Yeah,
And okay, there's going to be different levels of, let's say, different qualities of weed. For instance, you have skunk, which
yeah,
is homegrown again, but it's more chemical based. Some of
yeah.
it is more about the THC and the flavor, and but
And the high.
and the high, which is completely different from something
Mhm.
that is grown in nature, and you find that the CBD and the THC is imbalanced. There's a 50-50% ratio
Exactly.
in that plant that is grown properly and nurtured and cultured. And when you're used to environments of such that you're talking about in its natural state,
Mhm.
you grow a completely different relationship with the plant.
Completely. And a
A
relationship with
complete
self as well.
and a
Um,
completely different relationship with self. And where you're hearing weeds turned me to a super genius, you have to scratch your head. You have to go, hold on,
sorry.
wait a minute. Because the talk is you smoke weed and you get dunce and you get stoned and you can't put one and one together and you're losing your. Now, one of the talks that I spoke of is in the summit, and a lot of people didn't understand, was building the correct relationship with
Mm.
weed, that you're not dependent on it in a way that you bring yourself down. You're using it as a tool and as a mechanism
Raise.
to
Mhm.
raise your vibration and nurture your vibration. So it's the intention. And
Mhm.
again, that first relationship smells sweet. Mm.
But you want to know the funny thing? When I do my workshops and I explain
Uh-huh.
to people, there's a massive difference in between being stoned and high. I'm on high all the time. You see,
Listen, I
I'm
don't even,
not stoned.
I can't listen in my position. We can't even talk too much, but listen, I'm with you full 100%. I fully get it. Fully get it. Because, like I said before, I've already gone through a journey with relationship with weed and using it to cure breast cancer at a stage 3 level, much less anything else. Suppositories. I understand the whole chemical
I haven't told you what
relationship
I've done
that
yet with my products.
right. So understanding the
So I
internal
know.
endocannabinoid system
Yeah.
and that relationship, that 50-50% relationship, um and what it does to unifying the non-conscious self with the material bodily self. It's a very powerful thing. And when you can hold on to your resonance from a blissful place and you're using marijuana as a tool to heighten your consciousness,
Mhm.
so much magical things that are automatically happening within your system.
Indeed.
And this is directed through consciousness and quality of thought.
Mhm. And it changed your choices as well. Like the analytical brain changes as well. My receptors are completely awakened compared to most people. I can
So
feel your emotion. I can feel your vibration. I understand how you vibe. And listen, I understand so many things when I meet people. They're like, "Oh, how do you know?" Like your body talks to me. I can tell people if they have problem with their livers. And I had a friend earlier today, I told you, and she said to me a year ago, she was in my car and she thought I was rude to her. I said to her, you have a problem with your liver. And she asked me, how do I know? I said to her, we're in a very close environment. You're in my car right now and I can smell your liver. And she was so offended. So
now
offended. But then a
we're
year
going to be
after
best
that,
friends because I say this, a real friend will tell you when your breath stinks.
and because there's a particular smell to it's like acetone, like kind of smell that comes out of your mouth when you have a problem with your liver. So,
Hmm.
and I know those smell because I'm very sensitive to smell,
Come
but
on,
so
you was
sensitive.
next to your grandmother for the.
Now you know.
Listen, I'm keep telling people this. The strongest sense that you have that is attached to your root chakra is your nose.
Yeah.
Your nose detects more than scent.
Yeah.
The
I can
scent,
smell lots of things before it happens.
exactly. Your nose can detect vibrations. The poor elephant has got this trunk that's exuperated for the length of, and it's only because of the size of its body. And if you see what that trunk can do, it's the most important, vital
Yeah.
aspect of the elephant. Now, we do not give our nose that level of credit.
That is so true. Which is a shame because if people knew
We
why
need the trunk.
listen, which is quite funny you approach the nose because during COVID or convid, sorry for my talk
Come
sometimes,
on.
you had to shove something in your nose. But if you look back in Egypt, that's how they used to get their slaves. Because you see, there's a thin barrier in between your brain and your nose cavity. So if you pierce it a bit too far, too high, yeah, things happen in your body. You actually, tampering with your body. And a lot of people didn't consider that. But I don't shove anything in my nose, sorry, except, smelling, like smells and breath and air. So
Exactly.
I have very much problem with anything that goes through my nose, I have to be honest. And I had an endoscopy through my nose done recently. Um, because of certain symptoms, the doctor think it's my MS. And it's quite funny. I saw my inside. And did you know they're as clean as my outside? It's amazing. They were so pink. And actually, they're better than my outside. They were all clean and pink. It was an
Wow.
amazing adventure,
Wow.
by the way. So, but anyhow, yeah, nose is like, wow. When I saw the inside and how important and fragile it is like, wow. We should really consider more the
We really
matter,
need to
you
respect
know?
our noses a lot more than and understanding how this nose of ours taps into different levels of auric fields.
Yeah. And it's quite funny you mentioned the nose because if we're in yoga, we do a lot of breath work and we go nostril from nostril. So, and it's quite funny that sensation how when you breathe nostril through nostril and you think about it, your breath changes something in you.
Hmm.
And I do a radio show called The Hearts Matters, where I talk about the matter and I go through the parts of the body. Um, and I'm talking a lot about the breath because without the breath, you lose consciousness. So, and we forgot how to breathe properly. We should inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth, but also know how to hold it to calm our blood pressure. Because if you hold your breath, it actually helps you to calm down your pump, which is your breath, not your heart, but it stops your heart from doing that too much. Because
Yeah,
that's what it does. It's a helix. And
the
people think it's a pump. It's not a pump. What's the pump? It's your lungs. It's the pump. So because we have all that fake conception about the body, we treat the body a certain way. We don't realize without the breath, this is our food. The brain needs breath, oxygen, and glucose. See, your liver needs zinc, vitamin C, and vitamin D. See, every part of your body needs something. Have you thought about it? Does it matter to you? It should. That's why you can keep up with your shell and your brain can be healthy and make healthy choices and healthy spells and be happy.
So much to talk about. So much. You can
Sorry.
see. No, don't ever be sorry for being you and letting off nuggets of gold and so much. You
So,
can
and
imagine
there's so
that
much more to talk about because I
so
haven't touched
much.
even the
Well,
tip of my life.
we haven't even touched the book. We haven't
Nope.
in, we haven't even touched the products. We
No, not yet.
we're just getting to know the backdrop and the magnitude of the energy and the life path of the transitions, especially the transitions along the life path of
And
your
do you want to
journey.
know, if I may tell you, the funniest part is I laugh about it, even though when I tell the story, I see people's faces change. But I laugh about it because it's over. It's behind me, isn't it? So I can laugh about it, but everybody seems very concerned, like, but what I've been through in my life. But when I was going through it, nobody was really concerned because I was ringing the alarm. I was telling people I'm very talkative and sharing, and it doesn't matter, what you do. So, yeah, so much to talk about because I'm
So
laughing
much.
about it now. So I can talk about everything freely, as I said, everything.
Everything beautiful. So give us an insight as to what your daily routine looks like in terms of self-care.
Okay. Self-care. I am a Pilates instructor now. Um, that's why I look in shape. Just to say that. So Pilates, I've incorporated that in my routine. And it's
Is this
highly
something you do
important.
that you do this daily?
Yeah, I do it
Beautiful.
in my bed. I don't even have to really go into my routine, but I'm started teaching as well. So I do it regularly in that sense. I go twice a week at the gym, as well to teach, and then I also go to the gym personally. That's my self care. I love jacuzzi, steaming, sauna. I love my music. So I have a bit like you. I do little bowl sound. I was doing that before we jump on the call, and I work my and my voice, my vocal cord. I sing a lot. That's my self care. I write a lot. That's my self care as well. I don't. I sometimes do it all in one day, and that sounds crazy for most people, but I'm a neurodiverse, so I need that expression kind of thing. So I wrote a little something yesterday. I couldn't help it. Today was a bit more busy, so I just went out and enjoyed with some friends because it was sunny. It's Sunday, grounding's very important. So every day of the week I have a different routine. But it's mainly all the same. I start with the same routine. I wake up, I drink celery, lemon water, then I have herbal tea, then I make a spice up coffee. Um, with cardamom, cinnamon, and saffron that I grind all together. And then I drink that. And then I'll have a bowl of fruit. And then I have some toast, sometimes maybe sourdough. And then that's me for my self-care in the morning. Um,
You do
yeah,
anything like meditation or
yes,
self?
as I wake up. Automatically, when I wake up, I'm still in that state of, and that's when I get my vision. So meditate at that point. So as simple as
Beautiful.
that. So very important. I always advise to people, don't jump on your phone. I put it on flight mode on purpose. So if my alarm rings, no message is popping up because it's on flight mode.
Hmm.
So I don't go into that, and I don't use my alarm anyway, personally. My body clock wakes me up when I need.
Hmm.
So there you go. My body clock is great. I'll go with it. So I don't have 3 meals a day. I don't need to. I'm an adult, fully formed. I avoid junk food. My fast food is an apple, banana. I just wash it, eat it. Faster than that, you can't get it. Even McDonald's can't deliver that fast. I
I
don't
love
know.
that.
Yeah,
Love
I know.
that.
A lot of people love that.
Even
When they're hungry,
McDonald's
they're like,
can't deliver that fast. I love that.
that's my little joke for my nephew, nieces. They know that with me. Oh, I'm hungry. Have a banana. Oh no. Well, it's quick.
It's quick. There you go. Nourishing. It'll do the
And
right things to your
um,
body.
banana shape is like when you sad, eat a banana, the shape,
Yeah.
banana. When you
Yeah.
sad, eat a banana. Anyhow, I do that to my nephew and nieces all the time to cheer them up. So,
I
and to
like
show
that.
them that food helps you to be because you become the food. So
Absolutely.
that's why I keep on talking about the smell because what you eat, I smell it. I know. I know what you
Absolutely.
eat. I don't even need you to tell me what you eat. I can tell. But
Exactly.
scare people off when I say that, so I don't. I just like,
Well, I mean, vegans, vegetarians, they do end up with more sensitive noses in general.
I believe so.
Yeah. Traveling on London transport is my worst nightmare.
Me too. And I'm short, so I'm under armpit. Yeah.
Oh,
Everybody's
it's the worst nightmare. Because again, even from the armpit, you can tell what they've been eating if you're that
yeah,
sensitive enough.
yeah. But
Yeah.
imagine I'm also under the armpit because I'm that
Oh,
short.
oh my God, poor you, Jesus. So yeah,
Challenging.
it does become challenging. That's the right word.
Hmm.
Absolutely challenging. But a testimony to the space of purity that you hold your vibration, that you're able to detect toxins, whether it's within the food, whether it's in the air, whether it's in people's
Yep.
vibrations, whether it's in people's emotions. It's
Hmm.
all the same kind of
Yep.
thing. Even detecting what I call mental BO or so forth.
Hmm.
It's a very powerful tool that naturally develops as you walk a disciplined, esoteric, aligned path.
I
And
agree.
simple things that she's shared with us today, that Sister Magali has shared with us, even just looking at her daily routine, not jumping up and onto the phone or just jumping into a world of externalities, getting drawn out
Yeah, of yourself.
of yourself. Um, I'm there's times where I know that I have to jump up and jump into executive mode as I uh, um, enter into awake mode. And if I have to do that, I've got mantras playing in the background. I've got other supportive things to help balance a aspect of consciousness to always stay anchored to the inner. Remember that you're taking yourself on a journey. Don't just jump on the journey and lose yourself to the journey where it's only the journey that matters. You have to stay checked in with self because you're carrying self through a journey
Hmm.
through this idea of daily consciousness. This daily
Hmm.
consciousness is not true self. It's just an aspect of, it's an energy shell that is afforded from consciousness to allow because don't forget there's me, myself, and I, and you have to work out which one is the real one.
There you go. So it's a game, isn't it? So
It's a game.
this is why I like to put it in that perspective, yeah?
Are you
There's a
relating with what I'm
mirror.
saying?
Oh, 100%. That's why you have to use authenticity. You have to be able to check yourself in the mirror all the time. And that's the check, you see. Because what you're talking about is that consciousness people need to develop. But if you don't have a clean diet, you're going to be polluted already. If you're born in certain background or certain a predicament or cultures, you're not going to discover certain things. You see, I didn't start telling you about my religious background. My parents were highly religious, and we are Jewish Christian. So we keep Shabbat. So rules, Torah, like everything is deep in my family, like deep. the structure, the rules, and if you don't abide by the rules, you're out of the game. And it's all that consciousness. It didn't make sense to me. You see? And you start asking yourself questions, but again, to come back to all the conversation we've been having, it's all combined. Where do you start to ask questions for yourself? And when you stop blaming yourself or feeling ashamed of yourself or living in fear, because that's what unlock everything. The day you decide fear is not for me, the Bible says it 365 times. Do not fear, do not worry about tomorrow, let tomorrow worry about itself. Who listens? Who listens? That's why in the Bible it says, remember the Sabbath day. Remember. Why? Because human beings forget their own routine. Oh, I couldn't remember that. That made me feel good. But you go for what's bad. Why is that? See? Choices, non-healthy choices due to not knowing. Not knowing why. Why do people not have the same information that I had? I had to look for everything. But why did I look and not other people? Anybody could come up with that. Because it's a Jamaican recipe. It's not mine. I just improved it. That's all. It's an ancestral recipe from Jamaica. People used to make it all the time. If you ask any Jamaican family, they used to remember that rum in their parents' cupboard. They say, don't touch it. And they used to have it a little bit there and there. Why? Why? Was it a secret? Why was it hidden from the children and the family? Why was it in a cupboard? In the dark? Well, to keep green.
I can answer a lot of them questions.
Well, I can answer as well. But
yeah, I can answer
to
a
keep
lot
it
of them.
green. I love to say that. To keep it green. There you go.
Yeah. So it's a lot to talk about. The loss of information from our previous generations passing down to the new generation, the robbing of the mind through institutionalized powers. And that again, I was talking about this earlier on, understanding what institutionalized power actually means. It's a system that disseminates information that allows you to see people the way how they want you to see them and how they want them to see you.
Yeah.
And how they want you to see yourself in relation to other people, even those around you, including your parents. Now, there's been very thorough programs, even run from CIA back in the day. One of them was called, what's the name of the program? It'll come to me. But it was a program that played people off against each other in the family.
Yeah.
And started to create the narrative to believe more in the television more than what someone standing next to you would say. So
and it worked.
It worked. It worked.
Look at today. People go on Google.
Absolutely. And if you don't have an internet presence, you're no one.
They go to the doctors.
So this idea of keeping humans separate in conversing, connecting, communicating at the core, there's a deeper message that is cutting yourself off from you. There's a deeper message that's cutting yourself off from you that's being played out.
Completely.
Now,
I've got the perfect example, if I may interrupt. The perfect example I'm experiencing at the moment. A lot of parents turns to a mental health system to deal with their children having vision and psychosis, because they're having visions about what's happening at the moment. And what do the parents do?
You're running. Trust me, I'm not gonna. You know what? I'm even gonna write that down. Because,
sorry, I
know it's beautiful.
A lot of gems there.
Visions.
However, so now imagine that the parents trust.
Don't run, because there's some key things I want to get across. in what you were saying, especially with the biblical part. It's very important. Very important to understand the upbringing, the setting, all of these things. You can't just
Yeah, that's true.
understand. People have to esoterically understand what you're talking about. Now, again, it's not boiling down to the fact that you was a Jewish Christian and you followed Sabbath. What you're identifying was the idea of discipline and self-respect through the concept of the stepping stones of what a religion provided for you. So it's not necessarily the name of the religion, it's the one that's practicing within the religion and what they get out of it, because not all people that practice the religion are the same. They don't all come out with the same equations. So this is where we have to now take it above cultural reference, above religious reference, because when we look at it from a esoteric point of view, for instance, you said the Bible mentions it 365 times.
Yeah.
About fear.
Not worrying.
Not worrying. There's 365 days in a year. So you could literally take a verse a day.
There you go.
If you're a Christian, to help you dissolve the concept of fear.
Not only if you're a Christian.
Right.
It is in the Quran as well.
It's in the Quran as well. It's in the Quran as well. This is what I wanted to highlight, so people don't feel like, oh, it's in the Quran as well.
Because I don't exclude anybody, because I haven't finished to tell you my story.
It's also in the Bhagavad Gita, which is the main theme of the Bhagavad Gita. It all starts off with embracing fear turns you into a coward. This is the last thing you want for yourself. You don't want to identify as a coward energetically at your time of passing. I'm putting that out there just to relate to your book, which is a beautiful title, which we haven't even told anybody. What's the name of the book?
It's the Bible, Basic Instruction Before Leaving Eternally.
This is why I wanted to get this point in. This is why I wanted to get this point in, because there's so much to cover, and I'm very alert and sharp and listening to everything that you're saying, and I am not missing a trick or a beat, and I want to make sure that people fully understand, not just thinking, you know, it's one thing to be in awe of your story, and that's enough, but you need to understand it from a this is why I'm feeling honored to be able to break down in detail so people can understand. It's like, boy, she's got a lot to say. No, she's saying a lot of relevant things, and because we're doing it in this setting, and like, again, it's too much to talk about, you're not going to be able to get it all in one go.
Oh, for sure. I did not even tell you the tip of the iceberg yet.
Exactly. There's more to come. There's so much more to come. And I wanted to make sure that we get out in this episode, at least you get the name of the book and how this how it actually all relates to her lifestyle, her life path, and the resonance of the title, the Bible. And it's not a book that resonates with the Bible as we know it. It's much more advanced. I've read the book. It's much more advanced in instruction and insights than what the Bible actually provides. And I'm going to be the first one to dare to say it.
Thank you. I very much appreciate it. It was a great help for me. I use it. So it's what I use.
So I can verify, so I can verify that Sister Magali has grown outside of the concepts and the frameworks of Christianity as a whole. Again, Jewish Christians, they would never use the word chakras. Never. Absolutely not. Absolutely.
Or
or
yoga.
yoga or nothing. That's a swear word. It's like,
Yeah, it is. Or
what is
esoteric,
this?
as a matter of fact.
No, 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 no. She's elevated apart
Yeah.
outside of those in the box. And it's the thing is, it's not to say that there's nothing to appreciate. It's the building blocks. It's the stairway to
Yep.
a greater, deeper understanding. It's the foundations. It's like understanding the Ten Commandments. The Ten
Mm-hmm.
Commandments, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not. They're very basic instructions, very basic
Mm-hmm.
instructions to understand and develop a moral fiber of being.
Yeah.
So you can know how to how to treat the environment so the environment can treat you back accordingly.
Yes, exactly. And I love what how the Bible summarize how we should treat everything. Yeah. You
Yeah,
should love equally, yeah, your neighbor as yourself and God, which means everything around you. You should love it equally. You can't
absolutely.
be unbalanced. Remember?
There's so many levels of the Trinity aspect.
Yeah.
Omnipresent,
Me, myself, and I.
omnipotent.
Me, myself, and I. 3 in 1.
Come on,
Excuse me. Excuse
come
me.
on, come
So
on,
there's so much to talk about. We're not even
come
going,
on.
as I said, to the tip because
This is why I have to break down everything that you mentioned. You understand? I have to break it down so
I
people
see
can.
that, and I have not even tell you yet the story how I know so much is when I started reading very early, because my mum was teaching me how to read and write because she didn't go to school. Um, my mum grew up in Mauritius, so they had very little. So my mum taught me to be grateful for everything I have, even those things I don't want, because I have them. Imagine the spirit. Now, my mum taught me as well, God watches me all the time, so I can't do nothing on this planet that is not watching. So imagine the state of mind of a little child now. Then my mum told me about the sacrifice of Christ when I was about 4. And that I couldn't compute. I couldn't because I was a child and I didn't understand what was sin.
Do you know what really messed me up with I could say that it gave me a deeper understanding for the story of the cross. It was watching the film The Passion of Christ.
Yeah.
That changed my whole game and
Thank you,
perception,
Mel Gibson again.
appreciation.
Hmm.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
That switched the whole. I left the cinema crying watching that. And
You see?
I had already evolved outside of the Christian space.
Hmm.
I was reading Vedantic books from the age of 15. So I was well groomed into understanding uh, universal principles.
Yep.
But to put the lid on appreciating
Hmm.
the fundamental makings of a Christian and their uh, essence towards the figure of Christ and what that meant, the Passion of Christ, whoa, that really drummed it in. Like I left the cinema crying. I went to see my mum, and I had to really thank her for being a Christian because
Well, I would love to share more movies with you that has, I believe, and another one was made also by Mel Gibson. And I actually went to America to thank him personally for his movies, which is crazy. That's why when you took that movie as an example, I was like, what? Because I went to America just to say thank you to Mel Gibson, because he was at an event of training coaching event that I wanted to attend for coaching, but not really. But when I heard Mel Gibson was going to be there, I flew directly to Anaheim it's like just because he made those movies and nobody wants to talk about pain. I don't mind talking about my pain because it wasn't mine in the first place.
You're an
I don't
incredible
create
soul.
pain.
You're an incredible soul. Trust me, your journey there is so much to share, so much insight, and I would love to continue this conversation and
Yeah,
delve deeper into it and even just create a little mini series. I'm doing this
yeah,
also with some other
why not?
practitioners, but I can feel a deep resonance of a message that you want to share with everyone just by
Hmm.
your essence of being, just
There you go.
and I'm actually enjoying breaking down your story into bite-sized components for people to understand the depth of where you're coming from. Because sometimes I think there's a thing in the Bible where they were saying Moses needed Aaron to speak
Yeah, that's correct.
for him because Moses was so in it, being the one
Yeah.
to understand that person in that position. It's too much to compute. Aaron needed to be there to say,
Hmm.
listen, if you want to understand Moses, you need to understand this. And this is what I feel like I'm actually doing on your behalf.
Thank you.
So people can really get the picture. It's a massive picture. There's too much to talk about. And when we say we're gonna break this down into chunks, we, this is an introduction. We still haven't touched the book. I'm sure you want the book already. I want the book. We haven't even spoken about the book. We haven't even spoken about the book. So we have to come back for
Thank
more,
you.
at least 2 or 3 more interviews with yourself and
Yeah.
really put the cherry on the pie, as it were, because it's a big foundation that we've laid now. And I hope that people who watch this can uh, really appreciate the resonance of where you're coming from.
Thank
Again,
you.
it would be a privilege to have you at our retreats.
It will be a pleasure to come as well and
Yeah,
share my energy live. Like you will feel it as well
come
in the
on.
live presence. I prefer in the flesh, to be honest. So
Absolutely.
you'll see.
That whole auric interaction, it's
Hmm.
beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. We're also coming over to the UK shortly to deliver Nexus Essentia, uh, one of our 1 day workshops. If you're free, I would give you an invitation to come over to come and meet us and so forth.
I would love to come. Thank you.
Absolutely. And yeah, we'll keep you informed with that. And also yeah, just this, especially with the CBD and all things natural retreat, having your products there, multiple sclerosis, come on, well, it's too much, man. It's just too, way too much to talk about. People are probably already choking like on a Sunday dinner, like or whatever they do, like boy, that one, yeah, boy, I'm have to sit down and watch just this episode at least 3 times for taking Wagwan.
I'm sure they are.
Oh
And
yeah,
wondering the worst part, it gets better when you meet me in the flesh because
that's the best
I'm
part. That's the best
that's the
part. We're
best
talking about. There's
part. That's
nothing
the
worse
best part.
about this. That's the best part.
So that's why I'm trying to open a center so we can play. Obviously, that's what I said in my video introduction. You can come and play with me. And then I laughed because I realized I heard comments at the back saying, like, play with you,
They
like
don't
my
understand.
body and stuff.
But they don't
And I,
understand the concept of Leela. They
it,
don't understand it. They're lost.
yeah, that's why I thought it was funny. But the concept is to bring out your inner child. We don't play enough. We don't laugh
Absolutely.
enough anymore.
Come
And
on.
children make us laugh. Like,
Yes,
and why? Because they don't take life so seriously and they don't live in
absolutely.
fear.
So we're going to be going into these concepts and looking at how they relate to the book that she's written, the Bible, the basic instructions before leaving eternally. In other words, don't come back, yes, sir. We no want see you come back, yes, sir. We got through no more internal suffering. I make up, I walk around like you're depressed, suppressed, impress, but you can't express. And you can't get to that legendary state of being, that bliss, that Satchitananda, the bliss, the truth, and worthiness of your existence. This is all you have to achieve in this lifetime. And when we look at the elements of the guidelines, she's written a very simple book. It's not like my big old 770 odd page, 52 chapter book. That boy, even me still I read my one book. After a year, me still I read it. It's a wonderful reading, but we need these guides. We need these little things that we can just pick up, refer to, get our little hints and tips. And the book, Basic Instructions Before Leaving Eternally, is full of insights and gems, which we're going to be talking about over the next couple of interviews in depth.
Thank you.
Absolutely. This is a pleasure and a half to actually embrace again and introducing and talking, communicating, connecting with like-minded people like yourself. And it just makes it more powerful. It makes it more culturally acceptable from a conscious point of view. And it allows love, life's optimum vibratory energy, to exist in a true space and reflect that in a way that people can feel safe in associating with such beings.
Well, I just wanted to add, like, connection is the opposite of addiction. So if you want to come out of your addiction, well, connect with us.
Come and connect.
You know, that's how you transcend and you become aware and awaken, by connecting and meeting new people and putting yourself out there. Challenge yourself. What do you have to lose?
What have you got to lose? Come on. So it's been powerful. It's been beautiful. It's been exceptional. It's been too much to talk about.
Well, that's a good thing. So
absolutely.
I'm back.
That's the name of the show. That's the name of the show. Too much to talk about. And I believe we've fulfilled that we have to dissect even what we've spoken about. Much less the rest. There's loads. And again, wait till you meet her in person. I can't wait. It's going to be electrifying. It's going to be absolutely magical. So, beautiful souls, is there anything you want to leave them in closing with before we close, my dear?
Inner peace. And do your breathing exercise, please, people. Breathe in through the nose, hold it, expel, and make a noise like you're fed up. You'll see. Makes a difference. That's all I can say.
Get onto your exercises, people. You know what they are. The videos are out there. And stay blessed, stay beautiful, and stay on the best side of being you until next time of Too Much to Talk About. Ciao for now.
Ciao for now.